So, Palworld, let's talk about it. There's been a lot of hype around this game. There's been a lot of discourse around this game. And we're going to ask the main question, at least for me, is this fun? And no, it's not fun for me. But that doesn't mean it's not going to be fun for you. Full disclosure, I'm not a big survival game fan. It's not something that I enjoy doing. I feel like there's a lot of busy work that goes into that. There's some people that enjoy that. So let's talk about what they do well. Actually, what I don't like about it, because I feel like that's a shorter list than what they actually do well. So let's just get the bad stuff out of the way. Like I said, I'm not a big survival game person. I don't enjoy having to go pick up X amount of things to be able to do other things, to be able to make the other stuff that allows me to then go and fight some other things. It's just not a cycle that I enjoy. It just feels like you're just gathering a ton of stuff, crafting a bunch of stuff, and you're just managing an inventory. It's just not a lot of fun to me. I don't have the time to be able to do that nowadays. I want a game that allows me to just jump in, get going. I can pause it, go away, not have to worry about stuff, and kind of just keep things moving. And there's a flow and there's a continuous motion with the game. Now, that is my biggest gripe with this game. That the fact that it is not something that I enjoy in terms of a genre, that is entirely subjective. And like I said, that is just my opinion. You may love this type of game. It is really cool. You may not even maybe like this type of game, but the fact that it has the ties and similarities to Pokemon is what really sells it for you. That's fantastic. And I love the fact that you're able to enjoy that. So please ignore what I'm saying here. Go enjoy the game. This is just my opinion. Now, we've gotten that all out of the way. And later on, we're going to have a further on discussion around just the, I don't really want to call it ethics, but just the other discourse around the conversation regarding the similarities between Palworld as well as Pokemon and what that entails. So, what they're doing well, they are not shy about picking from the greatest hits of every single video game that we know right now. So, the biggest one, of course, that you can tell is Game Freak's Pokemon. There's a lot of these cute little guys here that, will immediately remind you of Pokemon. The difference being here that I think they've taken a lot more realistic aspect of it, where as a kid, I was super into Pokemon, not so much right now, but in the back of my mind, there was always this kind of conversation where how were these trainers actually catching these things, right? They just threw a ball and they just went in, cool. But here it's more realistic. You gotta beat up on them a little bit, get them pretty nice and low and dizzy, then you can capture them, right? But it takes it a step further now where you're actually able to have them do stuff for you. You can ride some of them, you can have them craft weapons for you, you can have them craft guns for you, and just the disconnect between having these really cute Pokemon and holding a Gatling gun is just super, super funny and super, super entertaining. And hey, mix the two together, gun, go pew pew. That's what solves it for a lot of people. And some people are very simple like that, and a lot of people are pretty simple like that. And it's fun. I get it. It's very similar to Zelda. The entire color palette, the way the character looks, definitely Legend of Zelda. You can see what they're going for here. Literally, when you wake up, they have the whole towers, the Sheikah. It's all literally Legend of Zelda. So they know what they're doing there. There's the kind of survival elements where they take some of that from the Souls-like stuff where, you die, you drop all your stuff, you need to come back and get it. It's all in there. They are definitely taking from a lot of the stuff that they know works. There's a lot of greatest hits information and stuff in here. So some of it they're doing well and maybe some of it not so well. But I can see the attraction here, and there's a reason why people are really, really jumping on this too, and especially for the fact that it is free on Game Pass. I mean, for God's sake, if you had any inclination whatsoever to try a game like this, it's free. Just sign up for Game Pass if you have Game Pass already. Just download it and just play it. It's super fun, I'm sure, for a lot of people, and enjoy it. But again, like I said, it just doesn't work for me because I don't have the time to dedicate to be able to get super into a game like this. I've probably said this a couple of times. I used to be super into Destiny. I actually used to make a ton of videos on that before. But yeah, this was just not a fun game for me from that standpoint of, having to just go find stuff. I remember there was the spin metal days in Destiny where you needed that to craft some weapon or something, and that was just torture to me. But people love that. You're able to craft stuff, you're able to go pick up other things to be able to craft more things. It works for some people, and hey, if that's what you like, that's fantastic. Go ahead and do you. The pals themselves, super cute, super engaging. I think there is a lot of similarities between them and Pokemon. So yeah, that's just something that's going to be the biggest draw for a lot of people when they're talking about this game right now. And we can switch gears into actually discussing that. There's a lot of discussions going around, is this plagiarism? Now, plagiarism for me kind of really applies more on the academic standpoint. So maybe when we start looking at this from a, IP standpoint, are they stealing? Are they ripping off their IP? And even going further on into that, there is a lot of discourse around how some AI was brought into as well to really take a lot of the pals and make them as dissimilar away from Pokemon, but using Pokemon as a reference point. So there's a lot of discussion there around the ethics surrounding that, right? And I can see both sides of it. It's a very dicey conversation. When you look at everything from a whole humanity standpoint, we've come a long way as a result of us just iterating on discoveries from other people across time, right? There's a lot of people that have discovered really, really cool things, that have done a lot of really good stuff that other people have taken, implemented to even make better things. And that's how we are at the point that we are today, where we're experiencing all the things that we are experiencing right now, and probably all the other improvements that are yet to come. That's how we've just evolved. So there's the conversation there. It's just, hey, I'm taking a couple of concepts that all work together, put them in a new package, and it just works, and it creates this new, better thing. There's nothing wrong with that. But there's the whole other conversation around how close is this to the already pre-existing material? And then there's the added flavor of the AI component where this is being utilized to create new assets, which could possibly now change the whole dichotomy of the gaming industry in terms of developers. And we've seen a ton of developers lose their jobs between last year and this year alone. With things like AI coming more into play, this can have impacts on developers, have impacts on game performers too as well. There was the whole strike with the actress strike because of, AI and being utilized in either likeness or voice recordings, things like that. So there's a lot of different parts to this conversation, which I think Palworld is going to be really interesting as to how we're opening up 2024 and the discourse with AI over the course of the year, and how it's going to be impacting the gaming industry. So we'll see what happens. I can see both sides there. There's a lot of truth to both arguments. Take from that what you will, but it's very interesting, and you have a very interesting game here that is pretty much almost looking like a flashpoint for a lot of this conversation, and could not have come out at a better time, right smack in the beginning of the year, for us to really sink our teeth into. So there's Palworld. I'm going to stop there. If you love survival games that have a cute element to it, in addition to a Pokemon style flavor, Palworld is for you. Just not for me. And if you enjoy it, please go ahead, have fun with that. I think it's an interesting take. It's definitely an interesting take on the entire Pokemon slash Monster Hunter kind of style conversation. So yeah, do all the things below. I will talk to you all soon, and take care.